Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to be a sad one, y'all. It's about the end of service day for Dragalia Lost. We found out today that the game is ending service at the end of November, about 3 months from now, 90 days from now. We've known for a while that this might be the case, but we finally got a solid confirmation that end of November will be the end of service for the game. Ever since March, we've known that the game would be concluding this year. We got our final story update back in late July, and now we've been in kind of a holding pattern of repeat events, repeat banners, until the game is finally over and the game finally closes. It really hit me today in a way that I don't think it has in any of the previous announcements, any of the previous story updates. And I don't know if I was maybe just being emotionally avoidant in the past or trying not to think about the end of Dragalia Lost coming, but it just hit me today in a different way. So I wanted to make this video to let y'all know, talk about some of the logistics, but then also really spend some time sharing with y'all about what Dragalia Lost has meant to me, give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes of my real life and kind of how Dragalia Lost has played into that. And if you're interested in that, that will be toward the end of the video. Let's start off though, just by talking about some of the logistics so that everybody's informed about what's going to be happening. So first of all, you may have noticed this, but with the announcement of an end of service date, you're no longer able to buy Diamantium in the shop. You can still use Diamantium, the paid currency, if you have it for any kind of purchases that you want to in the game, but you can't actually spend money, real money, to purchase it and acquire it anymore, which I think is the right thing to do. It's just potentially misleading if people buy it and they don't realize the game is going to be ending. I'm a little bummed out. I would have bought a little more, honestly, to try go for some of the special showcases that are happening or data mine to be happening in the future. I know it might seem silly to folks, but I actually would have still spent money for that one more month of enjoyment with the character I didn't have. So I also want to let y'all know about this. Whatever Diamantium you have left, of the two best summoning opportunities in my opinion, one of them is this Platinum Deluxe Showcase happening right now that you can do 2 summons on. Each of those would cost 1200 Diamantium. The other one is at the end of September. It's been data mined that there should be a Dream Summon where you actually get to choose a character, which is different than these Platinum Showcase Deluxes. So if you only have 1200 or you don't have enough to do 2 or multiple summons, that Dream Summon at the end of September, around the 4th anniversary of the game, is probably what you're going to want to save for. So I just want to make y'all aware of that. And as far as other logistics go, we'll click in here to the post so that you can see the exact time that service will end. And we'll go ahead and read through this for old time's sake, like we used to read through this month in Dragalia Lost. So regarding the end of service date for Dragalia Lost, thank you for playing the Dragalia Lost game. In a notification that was posted in March 2022, we announced that service for Dragalia Lost will come to a close at a later date. This message is to inform players that the end of service date has been decided. Service end date and time, November 30th, 2022 at midnight. And that's in my time zone. I'm in Central Time. So if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 1 hour different than that. If you're on the West Coast, it's going to be 2 hours different than that. So if you're on the West Coast, service will end the night of 11/29. And on the East Coast, in the US at least, you'll basically end at 1 a.m. instead of midnight. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to everyone who has played the game since service began. Please note that the Diamantium is no longer available for purchase as of August 30th, 2022 at 1 a.m. In addition, upgrades and essential packs which can be purchased from the game's shop using Diamantium will no longer be available for purchase from October 31st at 1 as well. So they're also going to get rid of those upgrade packs. So that's something that you won't be able to spend Diamantium on in the future. Players may continue to spend Diamantium on summoning, constructing the Halidom, recovering stamina, recovering Gather Wings, and using continues until service comes to a close. So all of those are just logistics. And finally, after the end of service, if you start up the Dragalia Lost game after the game's service has ended, an end of service notification will be displayed and you will not be able to play the game. Ugh, feels so sad. But here's the crazy thing, and I don't know if this is one of those things that's meant to be or how you'd interpret this. I had planned on purchasing to get these Platinum Summon Deluxe pulls, and the banner's not quite over yet, so I was going to summon at a future time or buy the Diamantium at a future time, last day of the banner. And for some reason, yesterday, I was just like, I should get that Diamantium so I don't forget to get that Diamantium and do these Platinum showcases. So I actually got this Diamantium like an hour before this announcement went out, which is kind of wild. Of course, because I only have 2,400, I'm going to do one Platinum Showcase Deluxe, and then I'm going to do the Dream Summon when that happens. So I figure, let's do this together. It's not all bad news today. We're going to get a new character here. Let's do this together, and then we'll move on to the more serious part of the video. And I think that will probably include a little bit of, like I said, behind the scenes on my life, as well as maybe some topics that are more serious in nature, a little bit of mental health conversation perhaps. So I just want to forewarn you if that's not something that you're into. Okay, so confirming, no, that's not what we want to do. Cancel. We want to, I guess let's try this again. Exclude all. Now hide. Okay, confirm. We're going to get one of these 8. Whoever it is, I am very content that we have an opportunity to get one more new character here. So let's summon and see who ends up joining our roster. The other thing I wanted to tell y'all is today, August 30th, is actually, to the date, the 4-year anniversary of my channel. Because I made my channel slightly before Dragalia Lost came out because there was a direct style presentation, basically our first Dragalia Digest prior to the game coming out. So yeah, it's crazy that this announcement happened today, and it's literally the 4-year anniversary of my channel, of my time here on YouTube. But that's just how it happens sometimes, I suppose. Again, another thing that, you know, maybe it's fate, maybe it's meant to be in some sense. I saw 2 5-stars, one of them is Linnea, so our last summon is going to be our new character. It looked like a wand, which means we could maybe get Chell, we could get Cleo. Who's it going to be? Alright, we got Yukata Cleo. Beautiful Yukata outfit. Oh, Cleo. Cleo's been with us since the beginning. I feel like it's great that we got her here. Aw, okay. Well, that's a good way to cheer myself up on a day like today. Hopefully, if you are still doing any kind of summoning, you know, it's going pretty well for you, but I know our summoning opportunities in the future, not too many coming forward here, so. Anyway, I thought this would be a good time to just talk about Dragalia Lost and kind of the life of the channel, especially with it being 4 years to the day since I began things, so I'm going to get into that conversation now. I feel like maybe my way of coping with things sometimes is to be avoidant emotionally, or to procrastinate, or just not talk about things. And honestly, I think that that's been the case for me since Dragalia Lost End of Service was announced. I think that I just hadn't really confronted that fact and thought about it too much, and had just kind of slowed down with the video content and the new releases, and just trying to push back and delay having to kind of confront that that was an inevitability, that that was going to be taking place, and also try to focus on the positive, all the joy that Dragalia Lost has brought me over the years, and the community has brought me over the years. And I think the latter is a really good thing. But I also want to talk a little bit about specifically why the channel and Dragalia Lost as a whole has meant so much to me, and kind of where it happened in my life and why that's important. And hopefully a lesson there for you all too, depending on what you're going through. So I actually started my channel after failing out of grad school. I was in a PhD program the year before Dragalia Lost released, and I had kind of a rough year. I went through some, I guess, natural disaster type stuff. I went through a hurricane. I lost the home that I was in, and I was displaced, and honestly just wasn't really happy in my program. I wasn't really able to focus, and I just wasn't really doing well in my studies. I felt like I was keeping up in my class, but I didn't end up doing well on the end of year exams. And that was honestly a really bad moment in my life. I feel like I kind of hit rock bottom there, and it was something that I had wanted to do for so long, or at least believed that that was what I was going to do and pursue, and I had made it to that point, and then I just wasn't really that good at it. A lot of other things happened that made it hard for me to concentrate on it, and I just felt like so dejected and so much of an imposter. Like, I didn't deserve to be there. You know, why was I there? What was I going to do next? And I really had no idea what I was going to do next in my life. But one of the things that kind of gave me some comfort at the time was games and media like YouTube that just has a way of sometimes picking you up when you're down and putting a smile on your face. And I had always had an interest in video games. I've said before, I've always enjoyed Nintendo games. It's something I've liked since I was a kid, but I had always compartmentalized my interests greatly. So the people that knew me professionally wouldn't necessarily know that side of me. And I had always been very careful about keeping my work and my life separate until I kind of hit this inflection point where I realized, okay, what I thought I was going to do didn't work out in the way that I had hoped. What should I do now? And so when Dragalia Lost started, I was 1 month out of having left my program. I failed my qualifier exams. I had an opportunity to retake them. And I basically just wrote a letter to my department and said, you know, I just don't feel like I want to retake them. I don't feel like I belong here. And I'm just not doing well. I'm not doing well in this environment. I need to move myself into a new environment and put myself in a better situation for my own mental health. And also kind of having realized like maybe this wasn't the path that was meant for me. So anyway, Dragalia Lost came about at that point in my life where I was just, where do I go from here? And I felt lost, literally, right? So Dragalia Lost happened and I decided, why not take a chance on this? I've always been interested in games. It's not necessarily like a career or anything, but if I can do this as a project, it's going to give me something to focus on. It's going to give me a good outlet for my time that helps me develop in ways I had never tried to pursue before. I never sort of had the courage to pursue because I just felt like, you know, that was a part of me that wasn't going to lead anywhere. It's not something that I could really share with others. And so I ended up moving back in with my parents around that time. I left the place that I was in to attend school, and I ended up moving back with them. I wasn't working, but that gave me a lot of free time to really concentrate on my channel and make videos. And that was kind of a highlight of my life at that point. And I was really grateful for Dragalia Lost and all of your support on the channel for several months. I think it was like 5 months that I played the game and had not found a new job or a new thing to pursue in terms of school. And so that was my sole focus. And I think had I not been a part of the Dragalia Lost community and had I not had so many positive people around me who were so passionate about the game and about building up the fan base for it and supporting my channel, you know, I don't know what would have happened to me. I don't know what I would have done. I was really at a low in my life. I was working. We have a family restaurant. You know, I was working, washing dishes, bussing tables just to get by. And that's also why, by the way, like Mitsuba is one of my favorite characters. But anyway, that's kind of where I was at that point in my life. And I made a video, I'm sure, way back when this happened, and I started making less content, but I ended up getting a new job. and applying for something that was in a different field that I was interested in education, which I hadn't been studying, but was something that I'd always been curious about and passionate about the importance of. So that ended up happening to me the summer after Dragalia Lost started. And I think that the reason I got to that point was I was so bolstered by all of the positive feedback and all of the encouragement of my viewers, of the Dragalia Lost community, that there are other things I can do and bring people joy, or do to a level of competency that I really felt like I lacked at that point in time. And I know I can be my own worst critic sometimes, but I don't think I'm very good at making videos. So the fact that y'all still kind of accepted me regardless of that fact, it just meant so much to me. And it's something I really, really cherish. And anyway, I ended up getting a new job that summer. I couldn't make as many videos, but I was doing something that I felt really motivated by. And then I worked at for a couple years and was still able to really keep up with Dragalia Lost quite a bit, despite that. But the other thing that happened that was huge in my life, and I'm sure many of yours, is of course the pandemic happened. And so when you think about the 4 years that we've been experiencing Dragalia Lost together, so much has happened. It's not like any other 4 years in life in a way. It's like the heaviest 4 years. We're having a positive, tolerant community, and a community that I've really learned a lot from, right? I mean, I feel like I've learned so much from the Dragalia Lost community and become a more accepting person of things that I didn't understand well before. But being a part of that in a time of global peril, in a time of a pandemic, I mean, it was like my outlet to other people, right? So that was huge for me. And I just really want to thank you all for watching from the bottom of my heart. It's meant so much to me. I feel like it's been a way for me to kind of put my life back together. I was able to work at that job, and eventually, now at the start of this year, I got a new job. I got a new job in a role that combined the interest I had in my PhD program, that field, and the interest that I had in education in my job that I was working at before. And so with that job, I was able to move out on my own. That happened over the summer. And I think that I started to withdraw a little bit after that 3rd anniversary of Dragalia Lost, when I was starting to make these transitions in my life. But I was only able to make those transitions in my life toward being at a better place for myself because of the support of all of you. And I just can't say enough that I'm so grateful. So I want to tell y'all that from the bottom of my heart. And the other thing that I want y'all to know is, no matter what you're going through, it may feel like the end of your world, right? It may feel like something terrible is happening to you, or, you know, things didn't work out as you planned. You may feel like you failed, right? You may feel down on your luck, whatever the case may be. I want you to remember these times that we had together and do your best to persevere and try to overcome whatever it is you're going through, and try to see the value in yourself, because all too often we don't do that, and we're not easy on ourselves, right? And that's what I want to leave y'all with. I mean, that's really what Dragalia Lost has meant to me. I know it's emotional to talk about. I don't usually get this emotional. But the positive is, I feel like I'm at such a much better place in my life on the other end of my experience with the game. And all the more for having known all of you through this channel. So I'm still going to keep making videos the next 90 days as much as I can. But even if I'm not, just know that I'm doing well. And things have really never been better for me. So I'm sorry to get emotional talking about all this, but I really felt like I needed to tell y'all. And it's just been hard to get to this point with Dragalia Lost ending to where I could talk about it. But that is going to do it for today, everybody. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.